Hello friends, welcome to the Vibrational Channel English. I have an existing channel called Vibrational Channel. Now, a lot of people have been reaching out to me to convert my videos in English. So, I've started this new channel called Vibrational Channel English, and I'm going to start with my favorite topic as to how physical reality works. Anything and everything comes from source. Source is everything, and source is coming from everything. So if you think of source as an energy, or God as an energy, or universe as an energy, that universe or that energy splits itself into billions or unlimited parts. Rather, it doesn't even split itself, it is everything. Which means that that source, if you think of it as a molecule or a particle or an energy, that particle is traveling so fast that it creates the illusion between this marker and me. It separates itself. But at the end, it is me, it is source. Source is me, I am source. And what is the reason of this life? Life itself is meaningless, because if life had a meaning, then it would have an ego attached to it. Life itself is meaningless. It comes from no purpose. But if you had to find out, if you had to drill down, or if you would force someone to find purpose of life, that purpose of life is self-exploration. Self-exploration, in a way, is to find out what is the reason of being, what is the purpose of life. So there is no purpose of life, and the purpose, if you had to find one, is that you have to find out what is the purpose of life. I know it can be a little bit confusing, but think of source. Now the source is trying to explore itself. It's trying to find out. It knows in theory what it is. Now it's practically splitting itself into billions of parts and experience life in physical form. So think of the source. It divides itself into a smaller soul or oversoul, and that oversoul becomes a soul. Now that soul decides that, okay, I'll reincarnate as Jatin and experience life in a certain way. Now this soul itself has three different parts. Now one part is the higher mind, the other part is the physical mind, which is not our brain, but mind actually lives in our whole body, and the third part is our physical body. Now the higher mind tells you where to go. It tells you what you need to do, what you need to accomplish. It gives you all these inspirations to act on. The physical mind acts on it, executes it, and the physical body helps the physical mind to execute these ideas. Now, every person on this earth comes with a theme in its mind. Well, not really mind. Every soul reincarnates to experience a certain theme. For me, my theme would have been experience life as Jatin, or whatever you want to call the person, as a spiritual teacher who would share his or her ideas in a certain way. So every person has a particular theme, and now because that theme is predetermined, and that soul in its free will decides that it wants to experience that theme, it actually picks its parents, picks the place of birth, picks the time of birth, and accordingly picks how the snapshot of the universe is going to be, your astrological chart. So the astrology doesn't impact you, your birth impacts how the stars look. Now, once the theme has been established, your soul pushes your life in a certain direction. The train has left the platform in a certain track. Now it can always change the tracks, but at least it's gotten that lift off. It moves from one direction towards another direction. You can change directions at any point, but initially your parents, your life, your environment initially sets up everything for you. So that theme has been set up, and that theme, along with that, is our contracts with other people. How are my parents going to react with me? How are my teachers going to react to me? What people do I meet on that journey? Accordingly, our theme is fulfilled. Now, Another thing that usually impacts us is once that train has left that platform, our initial belief systems starts forming in place. Usually a child, when it's in its mother's womb, it starts to develop a belief system. This belief system is the way our physical mind starts to formulate ideas around itself. Now the physical mind will always act according to its belief system, and according to that belief system only we will get our results because of law of attraction. So if you want to manifest lots of money, if you want to manifest a huge house, you have to first go back to your belief system and think about what ideas do you have about money. What ideas do you have about certain things? Let's say if I talk about sex today, that might offend some people because if they're coming from a different culture or a different belief system, that might offend some people. So it's not me offending you, it's your belief system about a certain idea that is offending you. So your belief system needs to be changed and your definitions need to be changed. Once you start to analyze those belief systems, once you start to change those belief systems, accordingly you will get those different colors. So this chart has one important element, that is our free will. We can always with our free will impact our belief systems, our definitions, and we can alter them, we can change them so that our results change. So think of this triangle as a prism. Now this prism creates a certain result in our lives. Now that can be positive, negative, whatever your mind says. The results in itself are meaningless. They are, as Bashar says, circumstances do not matter. They are actually neutral. It's the label we put on them. So the same way, if I have an accident today on the road, I might call that accident as a positive or a negative. Whatever label I put on it, that's the result, that's the outcome I can extract from it. So this prism acts in such a way. Now the negative ideas that we have in our mind, every time a negative idea comes, we have our free will to choose it. So think about this yin and yang. You know how one side is white, the other side is black. Think of black side as negative. I don't really remember what is yin, what is yang, but let's say the black side is negative. And now negative can be any situation, negative can be thoughts in your mind, and in that negativity there is always one white dot, one small outcome for you to change your direction. You know how I said the train goes in a certain direction, but you always have your free will to change the tracks. Now there's a small deviation. So if you were to think about your emotional chart, emotional guidance scale, if you've ever looked at Abraham Hicks's emotional guidance scale, it talks about how like emotions go from happy, sad, negativity. So there's a whole list of negative and positive emotions, but if you look at it, you can always make a jump from one to the other. You cannot from a state of depression become enlightened. You cannot from a state of extreme negativity become extremely positive. There's a slight degree of change that happens. Although there are some exceptions of people coming out from depression and becoming extremely enlightened. For example, Eckhart Tolle talks about how his depression changed his whole mindset in the next day. That does happen, but doesn't happen with a lot of us. So this yin and yang basically tells us we have free will. During negativity, we have that small positive of white. During all positivity, we have a small negative. If you think about it, go to a temple, go to a church, go to any religious place and try and think of negative thoughts. It's going to be very difficult of thinking of negative thoughts because that positivity surrounds the room. So unless a lot of people in that room are negative, that would be a different case. But if everyone's positive and you are trying to be negative, it would be very difficult, especially in that structure, the dome type structure where entraps all positive energy. So similarly, you have that small minute case of becoming negative, and from that black circle can become bigger and bigger. And now how do you change from a negative structure to a positive structure? You have to first understand what do you mean by negativity and positivity. Negativity is very constrictive, very structured, breaks it it breaks things into smaller pieces. It doesn't allow proper movement. So you can think of negativity as a wall. Brick by brick, brick by brick, it's laid. So our belief system can be very restrictive, very rigid. It traps you, or it can be positive, where it flows like a river. It allows everything. It accepts everything. Now the problem with negative belief systems are they are so smart, so cunning, because, and it's of course it's part of your ego, and it's so cunning, not in a negative way, but not that it's maleficent in any way, but it is just its nature that it acts in a negative way. It is not out there to get you, it is just there because that's the structure. So that's how negativity works. And now our belief systems can be so cunning because you think that you're unlovable. You think that you can never pass that exam. You think that you will never get a promotion. Now our belief systems keep us trapped in that small structure of, oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm negative, or I'm unlovable, I will never get that promotion. You know from a certain degree that maybe this thing is not true. Maybe 1% you know that this thing is not true. But 99% you agree that this, I am unlovable, I will never get a promotion, is true. So now what this negative belief system does is it keeps you trapped in that 99%. You know 1% that it's not true. You know that those negative thoughts that come in your brain are not true, but it doesn't allow you to explore that 1%. It keeps you restrictive. It doesn't allow you to keep you exploring that 1%, because if you were to explore this 1%, if you were to think about, oh really, am I really unlovable? I have this person in my life, I have this person in my life, this person loves me, I got this gifts for Christmas, people wish me on birthday. When you start to explore this number starts to change. But the reason you do not do this, and this is how our negative belief system works, the reason we do not do this is because what if this 99% is true? Our belief system structure keeps us trapped in such a way because what if that negative 99% is true? We rather stick with that 1% of slight positivity. Our negative belief systems keep us trapped in such a way that you rather hold on to that 1%, that small doubt, that small belief that, okay, maybe I'm lovable, but I don't want to explore that idea because it wants you to be scared. What if this 99% is true? So you see the way it keeps you entrapped. It gives you that small positivity, but that positivity is, again, if you think about it, the way I defined positivity and negativity is structured. It's very limiting. 1%, it keeps you there, whereas 100% and ongoing is expanding. It's complete, it's full, it's whole. So going back to your belief system, anything that you think of, any structure, any belief system that you think is very structured, very limiting, very closed off, then, for example, I can give you a thought of my emotions and my brains that's going on. My brain is, or my mind right now is saying that, oh, I'm making this video in English and no one's going to listen to you, no one cares about you. But again, you have to challenge it, and the way you challenge it again is by following that positive formula. And what is that positive formula? Allowing it, free flowing, expanding. So right now I'm getting that thought that, oh, no one's going to watch this video. So I'm going to say, in my mind, I'm going to say, okay, I agree, no one's going to watch that video, but I know that some people will watch. So you do not reject it, because if you reject it, you're being restrictive again. You're using that negative policy. You need to use that positive policy where you allow that negative emotion. You say, okay, I understand that no one loves me, but I do think that some people love me. This person loves me, this person loves me, this person loves me. So you slowly start to change it. Again, going back to what I said, your yin and yang structure. The black allows you a small positivity, the white allows you a small negativity. So same way this whole structure works, this prism, to change your results, you have to change your belief system and definitions. And the way you change your belief system and definitions is by that small increment, small movement towards the positivity, towards the lightness, and remove the darkness. When you move towards lightness, you become enlightened, you're becoming lighter and lighter. So I hope this video is helpful to you guys. If you have any questions, and if you want me to make any other videos, please post in the comments and I'll get back to you. Thank you.